Ha! You thought I was frozen again, didn't you? I know I'm on about a minute early. I don't know how that happened. Well, it just ticked 5:20, but oh well. I've been trying to get to the parking lot a little bit earlier now because, of course, sooner or later people are going to realize that it saves a lot of just time and walking if you just park where I'm at now. So, and I'm shocked this particular area of the parking lot has not been flooded yet because there's only three, handicap spaces over here in this lot, or in front of the building, and it's a lot shorter a walk from here than it would be from where they got us parking at, all the way out there on Planet Disaster, as I call it. But how do you like today's clickbait title? I just can't. It took me a couple of minutes to come up with that one. The diversity destruction of a legacy or dynasty or whatever. I threw in a little alliteration this morning, in the in the manner of Henry Gordon Jago. For you people who know who that is, but oh yeah, I was sitting here on the way to work wondering if all the big guys somewhere got together either on Zoom or in some little hotel room in Podunk, Kansas. The nardy, the drunkard, and they're all assorted brain deads and had themselves a little circle jerk in the spirit they believe they were right about everything. Like I said, you got the Turtis Zone guy who was out there shouting about how the show was dead when Whitaker came in. And yeah, I was reprimanded for saying that on a program that he'd been saying Jody had been leaving since 2017, which was a fact. Even though I said, look, I'll even link you the videos where he's been saying this. It's not like I didn't say anything false. It's not like I called him an a-hole. I just said the truth. But nobody wants to hear the truth anymore because the truth hurts. The truth is reality. It's kind of sad these days that the majority of mankind has become like electricity. They'll take the path of least resistance every time. But hey, what can you do? I'll never forget this time my mom, she was like, my mom, like I said, I'm not bashing on anybody's religion or anything. She's a hardcore, you know, churchgoer, shall we say. And me, I kind of fell away from that a long time. Sorry, throat's a little dry. I kind of walked away from that a long time ago, okay? Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, the show's in dire straits. The show's, yeah, but it was nominated for. Thank you for reminding me about that. Now, I can't remember what award it was, but it was nominated. I remember that. Um, Great. Okay, so my mom and I, she's like, well, if that whole evolution thing's true, then how come there's still, you know, monkeys, chimpanzees, orangutans, and all that gorillas out in the wild? And I said, because they were the smart ones. They saw where that whole evolution thing was going. They were like, what guys, maybe there was this conversation in some way primitive language, like, few 100,000 years ago. Guys, come here, come here. Um, if you go off and do this whole walking thing, eventually out of this is going to come paperwork, bureaucracy, lawyers, politicians. We ain't having none of that shit. Oh, yeah, you have to love it. There's a lot of shows that get nominated for awards after they've been canceled. Well, we don't know Doctor Who's been canceled for sure, but I'm sorry, it's not looking good. The plus 28 should be in by now. I'm going to have to definitely start crawling around, see if anybody got a number on that. Did anyone find a number? Let me know, okay? See what else has been going on. Also, now there's this, myth that's being spun by some of the other channels. Yeah, I saw, some of the pics of Billie Piper as her character. That's been going around. But are you kidding? Capaldi should have won a freaking Emmy for that. No, not an Emmy. What is it? It wasn't an Emmy? Yeah, an Emmy, or at least a BAFTA for that speech alone. And the guy who wrote it should have won an award. And Capaldi's performance of it, I see people to this day who hear that speech and they tear up. Not to mention, by the way, I believe today is, please look this up to be sure, because I saw this drifting around. I believe it's John Sims' birthday. And that's another thing I get the joy out of now, is when I watch reactors and we're catching up to the new series, and when he pulls the mask off at the end of, what was it? Give me a minute. World Enough in Time, or was it? No, it wasn't Dr. Falls. Yeah, but basically when the master reveals himself to his other self, Missy, the looks of shock and surprise. And it's like, we would have had that same look if the BBC had to put frickin' John Sim in the trailer at the beginning of the season. Ugh. But at least now I get to see people actually react to in surprise. Well, we did evolve up from a rodent. Yeah, it was World Enough in Time. Okay, I had it right the first time. It's like, because the only thing that survived the big impact of the dinosaurs, basically no animal with a body weight of over like 50 pounds survived that era. It was like, dinosaurs are gone. Time for us to crawl out and take this shit over. And look what a great job we've done. All right. So, once again, we are still in limbo. Nobody knows nothing. Anybody who's out there tap dancing and telling you this story about they know exactly what's going on behind the scenes is full of shit. Because I'm hearing nothing from nobody. I've only heard the whole their shopping around thing, like I said, as far as I know, was debunked. Like I said, I've had two different versions of the story. I've heard one version where Disney said, look, we'll think about extending it, but we want RTD and Bad Wolf gone. Then I've heard another version where, okay, but we want to do this. And there's another version where, well, they want more creative control, which essentially falls with number one. And I know, it's like, that's why I die laughing when you got all those guys out there saying this show is going to be canceled, this show will end. It's like all shows eventually canceled and end. That's like, me walking up to somebody on the street, and I'd probably be arrested for doing this, and saying, you're going to die sometime in the future. I'm not sure when. It's and then they pat themselves on the back 10 years later like they were Nostradamus or something. It's like, like I said, I really hope things do work out. Hang on, what's Starry saying now? Doctor Who's back in 2030. Oh, and what if 2030 rolls around and nobody, I guarantee you the video where he made that prediction will disappear. That's what I agree with Philip. I think he did that deliberately just to go, ha ha ha, later bitches. And I'm starting to agree with him. I'm dying laughing about how you had all these people, all these years, jumping up. We need to go back to the golden age of Doctor Who, which they're constantly referencing Tennant. because Tennant was the all-time king of the new doctors. Like I said, I like Tennant as the Doctor. Don't get me wrong. I like, but the problem is, I like everyone who's taken on that role. I don't think anybody's done it badly. I don't think you can do it badly. But sure enough, yeah, they bring RTD back, and of course, they immediately turn on him. Like I said, it took me a while to figure out, okay, something's going wrong here. Because then again, I should have known when the Star Beast came out and we had to have a lecture about the creature's pronouns. And I'm like, why was this necessary? How did this drive the plot? How was this relevant to what's going to happen later? And then I began to ask that question about Rose Noble. I kind of felt bad for that character because I'm like, why is this character even here? What function is this character serving? Other than just being there. But call me whatever name you want. I don't care. That's the truth. Yeah, they thought RTD. And remember, guys, I told you this. RTD hates, and despises when his stuff gets overwritten. Now, do you think he was going to do the same thing to his buddy Chibnall, who he's known for years? No. He embraced the timeless child, and therefore he was struck down by the proper gods of Doctor Who. Oh, goodness gracious. I'm not kidding. If I really had the time and the money, I would literally start a first church of Doctor Whoology or whatever, something like that. And please let us open the Hartnell chapters and verses 1 to 4. Thou shalt have no doctor before Hartnell. Thou shalt have no female doctors. Thou shalt have no female doctors. I'm not kidding. I could. It just amazes the crap out of me. Thou shalt not touch Gallifreyan history, for it is sacred. Thou shalt. Oh, man, I'm not kidding. The shit I can come up with. I could literally just throw on a robe, put a Time Lord seal on, and stand in front of a pew. And maybe set up a green screen in the back, for the... Welcome to the first church of Doctor Who. Please let us rise. And from the end of the invasion of from the end of Dalek invasion of Earth, let us now recite the last words to Susan. Oh, goodness gracious. It's kind of like them folks out there who I literally watched a reaction video the other day. And it was a reaction video to the Star Wars Rebels when Obi-Wan faces Maul for the last time. And there's a guy standing there describing the saber techniques they were using. This is sort of stuff, blah, blah, blah. Like, dude, you do realize you're just reciting a bunch of made-up shit, right? Like it was gospel. Notice how he uses this particular stance, blah, blah, blah. This is from... And I'm like, I'm not kidding. It's gotten to that point. Some people treat their entertainment like it's a religion. It's kind of scary. Yeah, I kind of like Seska, especially when, that's another thing I've been noticing on reaction channels. You notice when the views start to drop, the neckline starts to drop radically on on whatever they're wearing. But that's just me. I'm a dirty old bastard. And I've seen this repeatedly. Let us ring forth the cloister bell and summon the high council and our disciples. Thou shalt not embrace Chibnall. Thou shalt damn the timeless children. Thou shalt. I'm not kidding. I can make entire segments on this shit. I'm not gonna. But all I'm saying is this. Once again, before I go, we have no more information than we had yesterday. Anybody who's claiming they've got some top secret insider knowledge. And here's the thing. Look, I have nothing against stories. I have nothing against... There's a few other people who've done this. But just because you were on set as an extra doesn't mean you suddenly have an inside view of everything. Okay? And there's been a few of these who be like... Because once they were an extra, or, oh, look, I work in the office. Oh, look, I'm taking my picture on the TARDIS set. Oh, don't you wish you were me, you little plebes. And we, of course, know who I'm probably referencing there. But, so, I was tempted to start the cult of Bryantology, but Lady G wouldn't let me do it. All right. So once again, we know nothing. They know nothing. Nobody's talking, but if somebody does, I'll let you know, okay? Yeah, but that's because they were involved in that particular area. Right now, nobody's got nothing. I don't even know if RTD's still in charge of a show at this point. So that's why they knew about stuff, because they were in with the in crowd then. Problem is, there's a lot of people who've been in with the in crowd. Next thing you know, they're out the door when the new regime comes in. But, well. So once again, nobody knows nothing. Hopefully we'll hear something. But until then, I got to get out of here. I got to go inside, go to work. So please, be kind, be calm, be safe. Take care of yourselves out there. Have a good day. And hopefully we will see you all again tomorrow morning. And hopefully soon we'll all have some news. Take care, everyone.